Welcome everyone. Welcome to another one of our AcQuum Insights sessions. Today we're covering the bank rec in Sysynkt. So I'm Leon Burke. I'm a director at AcQuum Consulting, and I am joined by Kath Hyde, senior consultant. Kath's going to be doing all the heavy lifting today. I'm just here to do the intro bit. So let's just step through the agenda. I'll do a brief introduction to the product and the session. I'll hand over to Kath. Kath will take you through a module overview of the bank rec product within Sysynkt. She'll do a demonstration of the product as well. And then in about 20 minutes, what we'll do is we will open up the audio and we'll take any questions and feedback that you might have. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. And then we'll get to those at the end of the session. Today, I am presenting in Melbourne on the lands of the Wurundjeri people. The Wurundjeri have lived here for over 40,000 years. They've looked after the lands, the waterways, and the animals within the area. I want to thank the Wurundjeri people and the First Nations people for their custodianship of the lands, and I pay respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Today we're talking about Sysynkt. So Sysynkt bank rec in particular, but I just wanted to let you know that Sysynkt is an extended financial management platform. So it's not just bank rec. There are many things that Sysynkt covers within the areas of banking. What we do is we handle reconciliations, we handle payments. So we can do payment runs within Sysynkt. We can drill back to supplier invoices within that payment run, which customers do love, that transparency. We can handle the reconciliation of credit cards, and we can handle expense management. On the purchasing side, we can look after supplier onboarding. So we've got this whole supplier onboarding process where suppliers can onboard themselves and then go through a workflow stream to get onboarded as a supplier in SunSystems. We've got a purchase management system, so purchase requisitions through to payments. Sysynkt handles that. Within purchasing also, we have supplier invoice automation. So the AI reading of supplier invoices and the subsequent approvals of those invoices, Sysynkt handles that. Within sales, we have a sales invoicing module as well. So these are all value add things to SunSystems, and we certainly don't think it detracts from Sun. We think it adds value to it. Just note that also there are new things coming onto the roadmap of Sysynkt. So what we see is that Sysynkt will grow its product base and add further value through to SunSystems. So if there are things that you want to see in Sysynkt or in SunSystems, please feel free to reach out to us. Today, it's all about bank rec though. So I'm going to hand over to Kath now to take you through an overview of the product, and then she'll jump into a demonstration. So Kath, I'll hand over to you. I'll just keep flicking through the slides for you.
Thank you. Okay, Sysynkt, as we can see from this diagram, what Sysynkt does, it sits over both SunSystems 6, SunSystems Cloud, and that's both single tenant and multi-tenant, which is unlike a lot of the other offerings in the marketplace at the moment. It connects through various methods depending on which platform you're on. It's truly cloud-based, and the aim is to go for the full open banking once that's fully sort of settled down here in Australia. Today's demonstration will actually be on the more standard approach rather than using open banking. But the other advantages of Sysynkt are the links it has. It can be linked, for example, to bodies such as ABN register. So if you're using supplier onboarding, the ABNs can be checked against the ABN register and validated. So you've got the validation processes going on there. And then also in the bottom right of this slide, what you'll see is we have there are various APIs and connectors, and that gives you access and connection through to things such as currency exchange sites and other sites that help load your data into the system. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. We can give you a more detailed drill down outside of this session. Moving on, what I'm going to just talk about next. Next slide, please. Thanks, Leon. Some of the features about the Sysynkt bank reconciliation product that sort of stand above some of the other offerings at the moment, and multi-tenant certainly. It's easy to use. It's very simple for users to actually get on the system, learn the system, and get productive in a very short space of time. You can quickly set up your own matching rules so that you can set the system up so it meets your requirements. There are presets not available necessarily in all the other products, so you can auto-code things and preset things, again, saving you time to check every time and load the data coding in. Auto reconciliation is a tool which then runs all those rules you've got, which saves time and effort, meaning that you've only got a residual amount of transactions from your statement left to manually reconcile. Some other features I find really good, that you can find transactions easily. There's good filtering and advanced search functions available within the product. On top of that, you've got workflows. So if you're generating, say, bank fees into SunSystems, you can apply workflows if you want to actually put approval levels and checks in there, checks and controls before it actually gets posted through. Alternatively, you can sail through without actually putting any workflows on there. Workflows are very straightforward to set up, by the way. And then the final thing, while it posts, because you've got the links, it automatically posts directly through to SunSystems, so you don't have to worry about transferring files through Transfer Desk or anything else like that. So those are the main features. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually share my screen and move on with the demo, if that's okay.
Yep, got that.
Yep, that's it. Right, I'm going to actually turn my camera off whilst I'm doing the demonstration, but I'll turn it back on for the questions at the end of the session. So, Sysynkt, cloud-based. So I'm currently in Edge, works on multiple browsers, and we've got a landing homepage here. I've got the banking one on display at the moment. Because of time constraints, I'm just going to jump straight in here. Bank accounts. So bank accounts, this function is where we actually go and do the processing, the reconciliations. But I just quickly want to touch on something in the account setup, so just you can know that you can see that if we actually want to add an account, where, as I say, we're doing offline accounts today because we're not using on the open banking as yet. So we're going to add an offline account. It's still within the cloud. And the key thing here is the fact that we've got Australianized Australian versions and all the Australian banks here. And these bank formats come as standard, and if you need additional formats, there's no extra charge for additional formats. So that's when you create a bank, it will then actually prompt you with the relevant fields for that bank. I'm not going to set one up. I'm actually going to go to one that we prepared earlier, and I'm going to look at my bank accounts here. Got 2 bank accounts in the system. I could have many more. Mine are NAB ones at the moment. I'm going to click on my first, my operating account. And what I'm seeing when I come in is all my unreconciled transactions. Normally, the first part of the process is to actually upload your bank statement. So I'm going to upload my bank statement. And then you choose a file. You don't have to upload it through storage or into SunSystems first. You can actually just choose your file directly from a file share or a local drive. So say, for example, I was going to select this statement from the 1st of November and open that and then click upload. Now what you'll see, this is one thing I wanted to show you, is that the system checks if that statement has already been uploaded for that bank account. It will tell you, so you can't accidentally duplicate statements or load them twice. So actually I've seen that's already been loaded. I want to go and actually sort out, do my reconciliations for the first before I load my transactions for the second. Just get those out of the way. So I can click directly on the bank account there. And I'm now seeing my unreconciled transactions. We've got auto-rec facility. When we press that button, it will run all the auto-rec rules we've got. Very briefly, looking at those auto-rec rules, common ones you might have set up are your reconciliation types, checks and very rare these days, but EFT payments, where you've actually got a transaction within SunSystems, but you also have it appearing on your bank statement, and you just want to reconcile the two. So these two are reconciliation type autorecs. And then we've got things such as bank charges. This is a very common one, obviously, that appears on your statement on a regular basis. I'm going to look at that. So we see we've got three options at the bottom here. Match to ledger, that would be things like check reference and EFT. Auto code, which would be bank charges and things where it's a repeated transaction. The monetary amount may change, but you can actually set this up. So if we look here at the top part of the screen, we're just saying what we're going to select on the bank account. So I'm just looking for anything that's got the word fee anywhere in it. And in the bottom, and this is where the power of Sysynkt comes in, you've got the ability to assign not only a transaction type, so this is a payment because it's out of your bank account. So we can assign an allocation, and an allocation basically contains the presets. So that would be presets on whether there's splits across analysis and all your analysis codes. So you can get that preset so that the user doesn't have to enter them each time. And again, we get to assign an account. Finally, once you've actually set up, once these are set up and tested, if you're happy that that is a repeat function that doesn't need any further approval, and you want to process it through, you can actually choose to submit it on match, and that will post directly through. So when it finds those transactions, it will post them directly through to SunSystems. So what we'll do now is actually see those in operation. So if I go to back to my bank account here, I've got the auto-rec option. So if I click on auto-rec, and you can actually hold that keep button down and it will actually run them all, or you can choose to run selected rules. I'm actually just going to say, let's run everything. And it's telling me that it's queued, and it tells you the process is queued at the top there. Now, because we're in Teams, that slows things down slightly, so I'm just going to refresh my screen. And there we see, color-coded, the transactions have been matched. So our rules have kicked in, our checks have been matched, and our auto-coded, our bank fees, that's been matched. So we've only got a few transactions actually left to look at. So what I'll do at this stage is, let's just talk quickly. So what the system does, you see on the left here, you've got some unexplained transactions. These are transactions either on the bank statement that it's not sure what to match to, or within SunSystems that it can't find a match. And then it tells you it's got some auto-coded ones, but it also guesses. So it's learning. So when it finds things it thinks could match together, it will endeavour to match them for you. So there's intelligence built in there. So if we actually look at one of these matches, that might check, it's that old-fashioned, but if we look here, it would tell us which journal it's matched to and the payment. If it's the wrong one, you can actually remove it here or cancel it. So we've got some that actually, this was an auto-coded rule that was applied. And then if we look at further down the screen, we will see here, if we set some of these other matches, it tells you which rule's been applied. So it indicates which rule's been applied. So you're actually, it's done the majority of the matching for you. This is the summary screen. This is the details of all the bank transactions. If you need to see the SunSystems transactions, you can come to Ledger Reconcile. And this is a much more traditional window. So at the top, we've got the bank statement, and the bottom, we've got the ledger transactions. Now, what you can see here, the color coding, the salmon colored ones are ones that have been auto-reconciled, and then the blue ones are auto-coded ones. So if we could say click on some of these, as you click on the one in the bank statement, you will see what it's been matched to in SunSystems. So we can then actually decide, let's select a number of these. We were happy with those matching, they all look fine. So at that stage, we could actually confirm those. And those transactions will be confirmed. So that's confirmed. They're now disappeared from our screen. And that's because we've got a filter on. So we're not including reconcile. Normally, we're only interested in seeing the ones that are outstanding. But we do have the ability to switch that on, so we actually see the reconcile. Likewise, I've got no transactions remaining at the bottom of the screen for for reconciliation. So if we come back, so the system's done that. These ones are auto-coded, so there will not be a transaction in the bottom of the screen. So if we come back now, and you'll see I'm automatically just seeing the ones that are the remaining. These auto-coded ones, I might want to check them. As I said, I've left them for review first of all, but they can be submitted straight through. So this one is cash receipts. It's going through the AR clearing account. It's all been preset. It's picked up the description from the statement. If you're happy with this, you'll see down the bottom the analysis is defaulted as well. We could actually choose to submit. If it's incorrect, we could remove it. I'm just going to submit it. And then we've got the bank fee, and here at this point, again, it's going to a different account and it's applied a different set of analysis, all from our coding rules. So again, I could submit. We have some other options here. You could add comments if you want. So if you're doing a complex rec, you can actually add comments if you wished. You can look at the interface with SunSystems to see what's posted through to SunSystems at any point. Audit shows you the trail from when that was loaded and was processed. So if we look at the audit, we said it was downloaded as a bank transaction. I actually removed some auto coding earlier on as part of my prep for this dem, so you were seeing that I've actually removed it already, but we've now added that back in. So we've got an audit trail that you can always look at to see what's happened with these transactions. You do have the ability to split, and the one here, remove. Beware of this, removes it from the bank statement. So as opposed, if you want to just remove the auto coding, you'd use this. I'm happy that I'm going to submit it. So at that stage, I'm just left with a few transactions that I can, that I've got left to reconcile. I'm just going to go back into the ledger reconciliation screen. And what I'll see now is I'm seeing the ones that are awaiting matching. Now what we've got is some powerful search tools here. So if I want to look for a particular transaction, I could search perhaps just on 1, 2, 3, 4 and search, and it will find whether it's in the reference or the description, it will find any transactions meeting that search criteria. That's a single level search. Likewise, we can do that search in both of the screens. Alternatively, you can sort on all the columns. So we can sort on a column, highlight a column and sort on it. So you can sort ascending or descending. And you have then got the ability to actually add advanced filters. So if I was looking for something very specific that had multiple selection criteria, I can go into advanced filters. I can build my own filter. So here we could say, I actually want to look at something where the date is after a particular date, common thing that you're looking for. You want to exclude older transactions. So when you click on this, you can then select the date from here. So if I say I want to only look at transactions after the, before, actually I'll go before the 2nd. And then you could say, okay, or if you want to make a multi-level one, you could say I want before that date, but I could also say after a particular date. So you could look at a range of dates. I'm actually going to remove that condition and just do a single date condition. So a single date condition. And then it would display only transactions that meet that criteria. The date one's quite useful when you work with large volumes of data. So you have that advanced filter, and in there you can also actually filter on reference descriptions, a period, the journal, and then you can say whether it's contains something. It's you have a number of options here. So powerful functions. And the other one I would like to point out here, when you're doing your reconciliation, sometimes somebody might do some last minute postings. You've got the ability here to refresh. So if somebody's added a transaction into SunSystems, what you can do is refresh the screen here, and it will refresh it with any new transactions coming into SunSystems. Next thing I'm going to do is do a manual match, just to show how we manually match in the old-fashioned way, shall we say, and it's the click and select. So as I select this transaction, I've got my total of bank lines, and then I select the transaction I want to match it against. I've got my totals here. Balance is 0, so fine at that point, because the balance is 0, it's allowing me to reconcile, so I can reconcile those transactions. So I'm just left now with an unpresented check and some cash entries here. Just click back on the screen here, and what we'll see, we've only got a few transactions remaining. This one, let's look at this first one. This is a cash transaction. The default is actually to assume it's a payment from the customer. So we've defaulted the transaction type. You can actually select a different transaction type if you wish. And the nice one here is we can actually select which customer. We've got the amount. If we want to allocate it to the sales invoice, we can do that from here. So if we click on the allocate button, we can choose, right, it's not that one, that's a slightly different amount. This is the one we want, and it will actually show you what your selection total is, and it should balance to 0. So when we go allocate, that will actually do the allocation when it processed the posting and allocated it. So we're just left with 2 more transactions. I'm just going to show you another option here. If it's not a customer payment, it's say a receipt, you then get to do the coding yourself. So if it's something that's a one-off that doesn't happen very regularly, you could actually then come down and decide what you're going to code this to. So I might go membership fees. You've got search, you can just type free type, and it will actually find you the closest match. And then my description, the allocation that determines what is set on the analysis here. You can update this and amend these if you require. The tax rates it gets, the system gets automatic from the SunSystems tax details, and the GST codes that are in SunSystems. So once you're fine with this, you can submit it. If you have approvals and workflows in place, it would then pass through for approvals. If not, it just posts straight through. So we very quickly managed to clear out most of our transactions. This last remaining one, if you just go back and look in ledger reconciliation, we've got no match for that at the moment. That's something we're going to have to investigate and find out what that transaction's about. Sorry, my mouse is being very sensitive today. Go back here. So then the last thing, when you do your reconciliations, the last thing you would normally do is actually run your bank rec report. You don't have to go out to an external system, Q&A or whatever, to run your bank rec report. It's all available within here. Let's select a period. My demonstration system is actually on the calendar year. So I'm currently in period 11/24. And then what we'll see is the opening balances, the money paid into the accounts and out, closing balances. And this is a simple report for you to do your checks. And we've got a difference of 381 because we've got the 2 transactions, one on the bank statement outstanding and one on the ledgers. Download the report. Again, a very simple way you can view on the screen, and it's automatically downloaded for you. So that was a very quick walkthrough of the functionality that's available within the bank rec report, bank reconciliation functions. I'm just going to go back to our bank accounts. And now you will see at the top here, summary, we've only got 1 unreconciled transaction remaining on the bank statement. We've got some account summary information here relating to all our bank accounts. And that is a very quick demonstration of some of the more powerful points of the Sysynkt bank rec solution.
Just wanted to thank you all for coming and joining us during your lunch hour. It's really appreciated. If you want to know more about this, feel free to send an email through to myself or through to Kath or any of the AcQuum team. We'd love to show you more about it. We'd love to show you more about the Sysynkt functionality as well. So we'll let you get on with the day. Kath, thank you very much for your presentation today. Ryan, thank you for doing all the technical bits and pieces. And everyone, thanks for your attendance. Please keep an eye out on LinkedIn. That's where we post a lot of things about the services and the solutions that we're deploying. And please have a great day. Thank you.